Help me ducks, welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Happy New Year to everybody. It's New Year's Day today. I'm having a very quiet day. I decided this year just to kind of shut the doors, get shopping in yesterday, have a bit of a lie-in. I even had an early night last night. I didn't see the New Year in, although this morning I watched the celebrations from London and New York. But yeah, as I've said previously, New Year is not something I particularly enjoy. And this year I decided that with having a busy 2 weeks previous to this, that I would just take some downtime, which has been lovely. I've really enjoyed it. Today, no walkthroughs or anything like that. I am going to go through the Terra Volatile Collectors Edition, this huge deck, which I think has around maybe 160 cards, something like that. I have the original deck. I've had this from earlier in the year, which I absolutely adore. Love this deck. It did feature in my top 10 decks of the year. It's a powerful deck. It's a deck that really evokes quite strong emotions in me when reading with this deck. I also love the classic art style of it. But I wasn't able to get the expansion pack that came with this because I got this in a trade, and by the time I did get it and went to the website, there was no expansion packs left. However, this collector's edition has all the cards. So if you saw the Boxing Day bash that I did on Saturday with Chris, my friend Chris from Elemental Cartomancy, you'll have seen that I showed these cards. They are hard to get out because there is a ribbon here, but they go all the way to the bottom. It's supposed to aid in some way, but I just find it's easier to tip the box upside down and take them out. But look at that for a deck when you compare it with the original. So you can really see how thick this deck is. It's impossible to shuffle, obviously, as it is at the moment. They have the same backs. The cardstock here is linen on this bendy, nice cardstock. We still have a linen finish on the large cards, but these cards are so much thicker. This is an additional card. So what I thought I would do today is a bit of fun, and then I decided I'd film it as well, so why not, is go through the deck and then decide which I'm keeping. So you'll see here we've got 2 fulls. And so then I'll end up really with 2 decks. I think, well, maybe not. There might be the odd card that only has 1 option, or a couple of cards that has only 1 option. But it will give me a more, I would think, usable deck. So if it was something like this size by the time we've done, I won't shuffle them because they're in order, but that would make it easier for me to shuffle at least. So that's the idea, going through the Terra Volatile Collector's Edition and creating my deck that I will be happy to work with. I'm just going to have a look at the camera, see if we can get this any closer. I guess what I wanted to say as well is there'll be some of you thinking, well, why do that? If this is a collector's edition and I've already got a deck that I use, a workable, very easy to shuffle deck, why bother with this? Why not just keep it as it is? And that is something I toyed with. However, oops, sorry, just not the camera. What I intend to do with this deck is, because I didn't want to get it just for it to sit in the box on a shelf. You know, as beautiful as it is, what's the point in that, really? My intention for this deck for this year, for 2025, is to, I got this from Jen's son Shane, handmade, beautiful card stand, is that I want to, as you know, I pull a card of the week. I do that on a Saturday during Cup of Catching Cards. That is then shared in the Facebook group, the Hermit's Cave Facebook group, and then everybody shares their favourites of that card that's been pulled that week. However, I'm going to be pulling tarot tiles, the Jamie Sawyer tarot tiles. These are the 1909 tiles, which I love, but I wasn't using them. So I'm going to pull one from the bag each week. Then I'm going to choose a card from any deck that I've got to put up in the Hermit's Cave Facebook group. But then I'm going to find the corresponding card in this and have this on my table for a week. Pop it into the stand, and then that will sit on my desk as the card for the week. Because it's nice and big, so that's my intention. So I want a complete deck to do that, you know, and I want to be able to shuffle it as well, because, as I said, at the moment, that's not possible. All right, so let's see how we can do this. Let's create some space here. I'll put the ones that I'm going to keep on here so you'll see them. The ones I'm not going to keep will just go to the side. So for the Fool, both are beautiful. They both have the same design, as you can see, with these concentric circles and things like that. But I don't know, I guess this one, I like the dog though in this one. But I love the addition of the skull here. I like the fact that he's blindfolded as well, you know, about to step off the edge. Her toes are just kind of teetering on the edge, but it's almost like she's, you know, when you go to somewhere on high and you want a close look and you go as far to the edge as you can, you just kind of touch the edge with your toes so you can look out. This one feels more of, you know, that there's that sense of impending doom. In fact, there's two cats, isn't it? Just realised. But he's blindfolded, he's off on an adventure, not knowing what's in front of him. So this feels more Fool. This feels more like, almost like the Hermit looking out, really. But so I'm going to go with that one. And then we have our Magician card. Oh, both are great, aren't they? I think this one, I love these beasts behind. I love his hat. I really like this one. This one feels a little bit more traditional with the table. Again, we've got the skull there, but we've got the chalice, we've got the sword, etc, etc. So, and we've got the as above, so below. He's just kind of sitting in almost like a meditation stance. So I'm going to go with the more traditional. I am quite a traditionalist. Then we have our beautiful, beautiful High Priestess cards. Notice there's no titles on these. On, what should we not open? Yeah, so on the standard, we have the titles at the bottom, not on the majors. I'm trying to find, not on the majors, not on the courts. But as you'll see here, for the lovers, you do get a title there. I really like her. Oh, they're both so beautiful. I love the book that she has here, the Book of Knowledge. We've got the all-seeing eye here. I love the crescent moons behind. It's a tough one. And what I'm not doing is just going with the first, because I could go this or that, yeah, that one, and go through this very quickly. And I love them both. This is probably the toughest. I'm going to go with her. All right, and then we have our Empress. Oh, there's a hands down winner here, and it's this one. I just love the expression on her face. I love the shield here. This one is lovely as well, but there's lots of water in here. But this one just feels more in keeping. Okay, then we have our Emperor. Look at him, he's got microphones. Is it a rostrum of some sort, podium? There's the skull and crossbones here. That makes it feel quite modern with the microphones. This one is more classical and in keeping with the rest of my choices, I think. So we'll go with that. Oh. We have 3 to choose from for the Hierophant. I'm not quite sure how best to show this. There we go. Can we see them all there? Oh, they're all magnificent, aren't they? All magnificent. I mean, I like this, and it's a little bit different for me, but doesn't really sit with the Hierophant. So we'll take it down to these 2, although the artwork is sublime with this. Look at the white of his eyes. They give me Emperor vibes, to be honest. But I don't know, this one I think, I'm not sure on that. I might have to come back to that one. Okay. Then we have our Lovers, which is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I don't really get this as a Lovers card. I think it's beautiful, but I don't really get it. So I'm going to go with the more traditional Lovers. I love the little Cupid here. The Chariot. Wow. We have a, is it a 8-headed or a six-headed beast there? Love this. I think I prefer this image. We do have Justice at 8. This one speaks to me. I mean, some don't take as long as others to choose, but oh, look at this. Now, this one is really again, there are 3 choices, but this one is really gonna be difficult. Now, if this had been the Hierophant, I mean, I think I'm gonna have to go with this because this is just a brilliant hermit card. Absolutely gorgeous. But I really love this image. But for a hermit, if this had been card 5, this is great as well, but it doesn't give, with the wings and everything, doesn't give me hermit vibes at all. This does. And then we have, we just got the 2 for the wheel. This is very traditional. Love the baby with the blue face. Do like this one, but I think what this is shaping up to be is that I'm quite a traditionalist. But that's not a surprise either. Then we have Strength. I don't like this. I think Strength is, you know, we've got the strength of this, and I've seen this before in other classic decks with the column, the pillar of stone, and the lion is just there, very much relaxed. Very nice connection between the two rather than the forceful energy there. So I'm going to go with that. For me, this is a no-brainer. Again, I'm traditional, so I'm going to go for this one for the hangman. Death. Now, how many death cards were there? Okay, so there's 4. However, what I am going to say, and I've done this particularly in Terra Volatile, my usable deck. It's probably not going to be to hand now. I love this. So you'll see that death is there. It's going to be near the back, isn't it? No. But anyway, the point that I was going to make is I am going to have in, here we are. Because do you see here, it's titled Rebirth. And even though it's card 13, which is the same as the death card I showed you earlier, that's called Death. So I like having Death and Rebirth in the deck. So this one is going in anyway, and I think this image is just incredible. It's one of my favorite cards ever. So then we have the choice of this one, which you've just seen. The same image again, but with a different background. One's almost day and one's night. Or there is this one. I think it has to be this one, even though that's in my other deck as well. I obviously like for a reason. Okay, and then we have Temperance. Both incredible. I think I'm drawn to this one. I love the fire and the water. I suppose this one is more traditional with 1 foot on the ground, 1 foot in the water, pouring from one vessel to another. But I really like this image, so I'm going to go with that. The Devil, we have 3 choices. So we have this one. We have the same-ish, they're unmasked on this one. And rather than a Baphomet type devil here, we do have human form. And then we have this devil creature here. This doesn't speak to me as devil, so it's between these two, and I think it's going to have to be this one. Something very powerful about this image. The Tower, this is the tower that's in the original. This one is focusing more on the person falling from the tower. But at first glance, I might confuse that with the Hanged Man. So I am going to keep this more traditional tower. I think this is very powerful. Then we have the Star. We have a traditional kind of star, and then we have these two people here. One being, well, a person being visited by an angel, showing the star. Ah, oh, tough. This is tough. I think you all knew I was going to go with. All right, then. Oh, we've got 3 moon stars. Okay, so sometimes there's a choice of 3. Do I need to even say? All right, Sun. This is quite funny, actually. We've got 3 sun cards. Oh, they're beautiful. All of them are gorgeous. I do like this one, but I think for me, I like the coloration of these two, the golden sun colours. This is nice, I like this, but I like the animals included. I love the elephant here, the ox, ah, beautiful. So that's my sun card. And then we have Judgment. We have 3 choices for Judgment. Whoops. Oh, that is very Christ-like. That, for me, is probably too Christian. It even looks like he's got a crown of thorns. So that's a no for me. That one looks like they're offering up a baby. Look at this. It's almost like there's a puppet master operating this. Ooh, tough, tough, tough. This one. And then we have the world. I like this one. I think this is beautiful. So that's my majors, as opposed to the alternative majors. So, yeah. However, there's not as many options to choose from as for the minors, you'll be pleased to know. So I am going to take out the suit of, is it the suit of vessels, I think it's called? Need to look in the book. So this deck, Terra Volatile, has 5 suits because it, suit of vessels. For me, vessels is too similar to cups. I understand, before people comment, I understand why there is an extra suit. They're working on the suits being the elements. So obviously they have earth, water, fire, air, but then their 5th one is the spirit, which they're calling the vessel. For me, when it comes to the tarot, we have the 5 elements represented, because I see the 4 suits for fire, water, air, and earth. But for me, the major arcana is the spirit. That's where that suit is, where that element is represented. And I'm again very traditional. I only need 4 suits, so vessels won't be going into this deck. So we'll just go through. If there are any duplications, I think there's a few, we will take a look. So now when it comes to the lovers of the deck, of the minor suit, our 2 of cups, because this is a deck for me, I am going to go with 2 males. Because I think, you know, when an artist takes the time to represent in that way, for me just to cast that aside. And they're all beautiful, and you'll see that the females are the same, and that the couple of the males are the same as well. So that's what I'm going to do for this deck. Love this 3. So there is an alternative, which is pretty cool as well, with the 3 that are in front of this statue. But I love this perspective of the 3 hands holding, and you can see the characters of their clothing. But I really love this, so that one is staying. The 4 is pretty awesome. The 5 is there. There's just 1 5. 6. Okay, 6 has a choice of 2. So the 6 of Cups, that card of nostalgia. Love this kind of Victorian vibe going on here. But I love this as well. Look at the duck. I've got to have that one, haven't I? It's got a duck. 7. Beautiful. Love this 8. I mean, look at that. Wow. 9 and 10. So then now the courts don't have any titles or numbers, which I find extraordinary, really. I guess it's because in the original deck, obviously, you have the numbers for your minors, you have your titles for your majors, like here, the Magician. But when it comes to the courts, you just have your titles, and they've removed the titles. So why would you put it on this deck? But with having no numbers, you just have to know that that's the page. We've got 2 pages here, a male page or a female page. I mean, I love this artwork. I have a male page. And because this is my significator, this is who I am in the tarot, the Page of Cups. Needs to represent me. We have a knight, couple of knights. Wonder why that horse is blindfolded. Well, they're both blindfolded. Gives a different meaning, doesn't it? We have a queen and a king, so there's no options there. It's already getting quite chunky. We have our coin suit. Look at this for an ace of coins. Isn't that stunning? Oops. Here's our 2 choices. I mean, this is more traditional, particularly with the style of the hat. And this serpent is making the lemniscate. But I really like her. I think it's a beautiful card. So I'm going to go with this one for my 2. The 3. And the 4. Really like this image of the 4. Now, this is a tough one. So 5 of Pentacles. Again, if you've known me well, or you've watched me for a few years, you'll know my story. You'll know that this card is a very important card. This one is stunning, so beautiful. I really love it. The snow, and it's just, oh, it's like a picture card. This is a very unusual take. They're actually approaching the door here, and I'm wondering, are they being admitted entry? Are they, and it's really difficult because both images are incredible. I love them. I mean, it's shadowy. Do you see that? So it doesn't feel like a solid door. It feels like the doorway is open for them to go inside and take refuge. But I think this image is just so gorgeous. I couldn't not have it. Let's have a sup of coffee. Then we have the 6. Quite a traditional 6 here, although the addition of this being an angelic being. We have 2 7s. This is some sort of bird, I think. It's quite hard to make out what's happening in this image. So I will go with this one for the 7. We have the 8. That looks like hard toil, doesn't it, in front of that fire. We have Oh, I've got another 6. I've got them mixed up. Let's go back to the 6 a second. So it's, oh, now this changes it a bit. So this is the 6. I don't know why they got misplaced. Oh. That is somebody really showing compassion and mercy, rather than this one just giving to 1, really. So I'm going to swap that out, and I'm going to pop this one in for the 6. All right. Don't know what happened there. 9, we have 2 different 9s. I like this. 10. They both have kind of like the family unit. This one really focuses on the patriarch of the family. I love the scenery in the background here. We've got that arch. Looks like he's reading a letter. Beautiful. All right, our page. This is stunning, isn't it? How could I not have that for the page? The knight. I'm not quite sure what animal he's riding there. I'm going to go with this knight. We have no alternative. Oh, we have an alternative. So there's our queen. Beautiful. And then we have a choice of 2 kings. Which goes better with the queen? Yeah. Oh. I bet some amongst you have said, no, you've done it wrong. Before I go through the deck, I will make sure that I put everything in the right pile, because I've been known to do that. So we have our Ace of Swords. Oh, look at this. Oh, love this card. The 2. Okay, Giselle. We have an alternative to the 3 of Swords. I'm gonna go with that, even though I can hear my big sis Giselle saying, but what's that got to do with swords? It's still showing a pierced heart. We had a very long conversation, well, not very long, but we had a conversation about that in Glastonbury, and I offered my viewpoints on it. We have 2 4s. I like the perspective of this one. I mean, this is more traditional, and oh, look at the scenery though out the window. I really love how this is kind of looking from one end, and they're just stacked up rather than what we usually see, which is down the wall. This one, not quite sure why, just the one I feel the most. 2 5s. This one. Don't really understand this bust, but anyway. We have 2 6s, but I really like this one. I know it's more traditional. The water seems more perilous here, and this is about, you know, leaving that behind and going to something a bit more calmer. And then we have the 7. Oh, look at this fox holding a sword in its mouth. Or we have this one. I mean, both have the same moon, which is beautiful. He seems to be wearing very modern glasses. I mean, I like this, the fox in the night, sneaking up, grabbing something, and you know, it has the same connotation. I like the fox. So we're going to go with the fox. Here's our 8, our 9. Look at that anguish there, don't we? The nightmare card, as we call it. And the 10. Just the one option for the 10. Okay, then we have our pages. So you'll see the pages, they like decapitation in this deck, don't they? Tend to give you a male or a female perspective. Although this character here is quite androgynous, really. I do like the clouds and everything in this one. Our knight, this is more traditional, but this is beautiful. An absolutely gorgeous image. So I'm going to go with that one. No options for the Queen and King. All right, and then we're into our wands, our clubs. So we have our ace. Oh, stunning, look at that. Oh, I knew there was going to be an alternative. It doesn't alter. I mean, that it's beautiful, but hands down, this one. I love the rays from the eye as he's looking out. I love how ornate this balcony is. That's like an orb as well, like from the Orb and Scepter. And look at this, peering, statuesque, stunning. 3, love the 3. We have a couple of 4s. I don't know what they're doing there. For me, this is like the celebration card, some sort of ceremony, ritual. It looks like a marriage that's happening here. There's people reveling and dancing around. Feels quite a tribal image. Looks like they're doing the okie dokie. I'm gonna go with that one. The 5, we have 2 choices. I like this. It seems more coordinated rather than this. And now then, is this a 6 or a 7? It's a 7. Sometimes it's quite hard when there's things in the background to see. So just one choice for the 6. And then the 7, we have 2 choices. I like this one. I really like this one. Oh wow, look at that. So for the 8, oh gosh, these are both beautiful. I mean, it beats the traditional, doesn't it? Just seeing 8 rods flying through the air. These are almost growing out of her. This one with the all-seeing eye in the clouds. Both are fantastic. What a choice. I suppose, I mean, it's the same, isn't it? If that was kind of upside down. I'm going to go with this one. It speaks to me more. I love this guy. There's an alternative as well for that, for the 9 of Wands. But there's something about this creature. Love it. And then we have 2. So I think this must be a signature of some sort. We've got a 10 here as well in the middle of the image. Kind of reminds me of the Solar Booster. And then we've got these squiggles, which looks like they could be signatures. But it's exactly the same image. And I'm going to go without it and have this as a, you know, backup, if you like. Okay, and then we have our beautiful pages. I think this one speaks a little bit more. Our alternative for the knights. I do love this image. Look at this horse as well. Gorgeous. Now we've got 2 queens here. Or is it 3? No, 2 queens. I mean, both are stunning, aren't they? I like this one more, a little bit more. Then we have a king. And then we have the vessels. So I'll just show you the vessels anyway, just in case you haven't seen them. Oops, knocking things everywhere. I mean, that is a brilliant image. But I wouldn't know how to read it, really. And that's the thing with a made-up suit. I mean, everything's made up, isn't it? Tarot's made up. But do you know what I mean? When something is added that's from one person's perspective, the creators. I do love that, though. And this. Again, there's alternative cards when it comes to the courts. And then we have our king. So, oh, I've put them all on top. Let's just go back to where we were. So, that, and then we finished with the king. And then we went into the vessels, didn't we? So they go there. So then we've got additional cards. We've got a yes and a no. So do I need them in the deck? Yes, I think I'll keep them in. I'll keep them in. Sometimes I like yes or no questions, and or kind of very a focused reading, which would kind of indicate a yes or no questions. And when I'm reading for others, I tend not to do that. But if I'm asking about things about myself, I tend to ask those type of questions, and I'll look at the cards and give a sense of whether it's a move forward or not. But if I've got those cards in there and one of them comes up, then it really helps. Now this I'm using, or would use, as a significator card, but I'm not going to be using, actually that's the same with the yes or no, isn't it? I'm not going to be using this deck for readings as such. I'm going to be using them for my weekly cards, so I don't really need these. Is this deck manageable now for shuffling? Yes, just. I'll keep them out, and then if I decide to do a reading with this deck, I probably wouldn't do more than 3 cards with this though. I could always fish them out and put them in. So this is the deck that I'm going with. Let's try and do this now without dropping them everywhere. He says, easier said than done. This is the deck that I'm not using, but it's not a full deck because, as you know, some cards in this deck only had one option, so there's not a full deck there. Okay, so you've seen all the cards anyway, you've heard my views on them, so the next bit, if you want to end the video here, it's absolutely fine, because the next bit is just, I'll play some music and you can see each of the cards in the completed deck, my Terra Volatile deck. Wow. So doing that last bit at the end, just going through each card, making sure I hadn't got any duplicates in there, that I had put things in the right pile. Going through this deck just then, I just knew I'd made the right choices on every card. It's a deck that speaks to me. Yes, it's still a chunky monkey. It will be quite difficult to shuffle. I don't suppose, you know, it's going to be easy. I don't riffle shuffle. I know there's people that, you know, where you kind of do it at the edges, etc. I don't want to ding up these cards too much. I could even, you know, shuffle. Oops, no, I can't. Every time I want to show something on camera, it goes wrong. But I could even shuffle half at a time if I needed to. So I could do that half and then the other half. See, against my chest, you can't see it, but it's a lot easier against my chest that way. Yeah, it's still a bit of a beast. There's no way you can shuffle that way. It's just not happening. Let me try it against my chest again. Yeah, that's not too bad. One turned over, but not bad. Okay. Oh wow. Giselle, you're present. Not your present, as in you're present with me. Your spirit is here, clearly. Oh, not a great first card to pull, but yeah, so this is going to be my deck for working in the week. I just need to find a more effective way, I think, to shuffle them. But holding it next to my chest seems to work quite well. I'm not dropping any. Just perhaps doing a few at a time, taking from the bottom. Oh, see, if I move it away from my chest, they go everywhere. They are quite slippy as well with them being, but if you just take a few at a time. Etc. What I might do as well is get a big clear space and shuffle them up really good by laying them out and putting them back together and then shuffling. I mean, there are people who do things like that, aren't they? But just move them about a bit. However way you want to do it. Oh, it's such a cool deck. I love it. I love it. Christmas present to myself. I didn't buy it, I acquired it, but I had to trade something quite significant to get it. I'm not going to say what, but because I don't want people saying, oh, how could you trade that deck? But sometimes you have to think about how many decks you're using and which you'll probably use more when an opportunity comes up. So I saw this as a Christmas present to myself. Anyway, there we have it. My Terra Volatile deck that I'm going to be working with through this year for my weekly card pulls that will sit on my desk in a stand. I love this stand. And allow me to focus on it for the week. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, go in peace. Namaste. And blessed be. Just wanted to add before I go, does anybody know of a bag creator, an Etsy shop, or I've had a quick look and I find it hard to work out dimensions of where they do large bags to keep something like this in. I've got this one, which was done for me a few years ago, and whilst it's the right size, because it will take those cards comfortably and close, it's not wide enough to take the thickness of this deck, which is a shame. So if anybody out there because you'll see here, it won't go around the mouth of this because it's thick. They do large kind of drawstring bags for this. Let me know, hook me up, and I'll give the shop a look and a shout out if I find it. All right, see you later.